In a surprise and historic twist, a global arrest warrant has been issued against South African President Cyril Ramaphosa, causing political shock waves in national and global spheres. The warrant issued by the International Criminal Court (ICC) in the HEG not only names Ramaphosa but also a number of top-ranking officials in the African National Congress (ANC), subjecting the once iconic liberation movement to intense international scrutiny. For years the ANC represented the victory of democracy over apartheid. Today, however, its honor is threatened by perhaps its biggest challenge ever since the advent of democracy. President Ramaphosa is accused, a statement made early Thursday morning by the ICC says, of being involved in a series of systemic abuses of authority, corruption and obstruction of justice which offend both domestic and international law. The warrant cites violence sanctioned by the state and mass misappropriation of public assets, acts that have ensured democratic institutions have been eroded and socio-economic disintegration has occurred in some regions of the country. The ICC's press briefing termed the pattern of governance that not only ignores the rule of law but weaponizes state institutions against its own people. The ICC confirmed that it had been collecting evidence for more than 2 years with the cooperation of whistleblowers, foreign NOSes, and local law enforcement. Prosecutors charged that Ramaphosa directly approved or knowingly permitted state officials to carry out illegal detentions, harassment of opposition members, and meddling in judicial proceedings. Behind closed doors, investigators reportedly followed money trails connecting offshore bank accounts to powerful ANC handlers, further fueling theories of systemic corruption. While corruption has long besmirched South African politics, the character of the charges against Ramaphosa goes beyond mere graft. The ICC warrant charges the president with crimes against humanity in the form of politically motivated violence and obstruction of justice, allegedly including efforts to manipulate the judiciary. Other charges include international money laundering, with money allegedly channeled through offshore accounts, and the abuse of state intelligence agencies to harass critics, journalists, and opposition politicians. What has most energized the international community is the allegation that the ANC government under Ramaphosa enabled secret operations in a number of neighboring nations to quash opposition among exiled opposition leaders, something considered transnational political repression. Human rights observers indicate such an action, should it be confirmed, would be a bad omen for democratic regression in southern Africa. In addition to Ramaphosa, a number of senior ANC leaders are also said to be under scrutiny, creating speculation of a looming political earthquake inside South Africa's ruling class. Those close to the ICC verified that arrest warrants or sealed indictments could soon be issued against the Minister of State Security, the Deputy President, and 2 previous finance ministers. These officials are accused of being part of an inner circle that systematically ripped apart anti-corruption processes and enabled wide-scale plundering of public money. The revelation has caused waves of unease in the ANC leadership, with insiders said to be convening emergency meetings to organize damage control and mobilize party loyalty. International observers claim that the ANC leadership may now experience a comprehensive judicial reckoning. Already certain foreign governments, such as some members of the European Union, have indicated that ANC members who are targeted by the warrant could be banned from travel and have their assets overseas frozen. Sanctions and additional isolation are warned about if South Africa does not comply with the ICC. A number of Western capitals have made statements that call for respect for international law and asking Pretoria to respect its treaty commitments as a signatory to the Rome Statute. The announcement has thrown South Africa into political turmoil. The Democratic Alliance, DA, and Economic Freedom Fighters, EFF, parties have demanded Ramaphosa's instant resignation and dismantling of the present cabinet. Today, the president has shamed our country, DA leader John Steenhuisen shouted at a passionate press conference. This is not just a crisis of law. It is a crisis of morality, of leadership. South Africa needs to be rescued from ANC elite. EFF spokespeople reinforced that view, claiming the warrant confirms long-standing allegations of corruption and abuse in the ruling party. At the same time, massive protests have broken out in key cities, with thousands of protesters demanding accountability. Protesters in Johannesburg, Cape Town and Durban held placards with the slogans "Justice for South Africa" and "No one is above the law." Many South Africans already better from economic troubles, high joblessness, and rotating blackouts feel that this is the last straw. Community leaders threaten that anger may spill over into civil disobedience if the government is seen to be protecting the president from prosecution. But ANC spokespeople have rejected the accusations as neo-colonial meddling in the affairs of a sovereign nation, describing the warrant as politically motivated. "We will not let our democracy be subverted by foreign institutions," one top ANC leader stated at an emergency press briefing. Some party loyalists have criticized the ICC for selectively prosecuting African leaders and failing to prosecute alleged crimes by leaders of influential Western nations. The argument has found some traction with some sections of society that distrust the ICC. The ICC has asked member states to provide cooperation to implement the decision to arrest, and diplomatic efforts are said to be underway to persuade South Africa's government to cooperate voluntarily. Legal experts point out that South Africa's past quarrels with the ICC, like the 2015 diplomatic row over Sudan President Omar al-Bashir, could complicate things. The nation had in the past threatened to pull out of the ICC as a matter of sovereignty, only to later change its mind. That history puts into perspective how Pretoria now reacts after its own president is in the dock. Legal analysts caution that until Ramaphosa either surrenders voluntarily or is ousted from office, enforcement is likely to be challenging, especially if the ruling party tries to protect him. International law experts have also noted that the ICC lacks its own police force and wholly depends on member states to arrest suspects. In the event of refusal by South Africa, the standoff could degenerate into a confrontation between the ICC, foreign governments, and the ANC. In a historic gesture, some African countries have come out in support of the ICC ruling, indicating a widening split in continental politics. Botswana's president himself became a headline maker when he stated, "No one is above the law, not even a sitting head of state." But other countries like Zimbabwe and Uganda condemned the ICC move as destabilizing and cautioned that it would create a perilous precedent for foreign interference in African government. The United Nations Security Council would be convening in an emergency meeting to discuss the emerging crisis and its ramifications for regional stability. Observers caution that the crisis can strain South Africa's diplomatic ties, especially in the African Union and its principal economic partners.